Hey guys, Yael here for Yael TV. Well, I was sent with a lot of fan questions.
Okay.
So I'm just going to ask how I heard that you had, in season 2, decided how you wanted the show to end eventually. Has that changed at all?
Well, I mean, I have this image in my mind of what I think should be the final image of the show. And I think what I said at the time, and what is still true, that's collapsible. So if we get lucky enough to make 5, I can do it then. If we get lucky enough to, go beyond that, I think I could figure out a way to have that continue to be the final image of the show.
Yeah.
The story for season 4 is already sort of percolating. So.
Oh, is the City of Lights going to continue in season 4?
Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. We do tend to tell the story of the season in total by the end of each season. So I think that's kind of our formula. You could expect that to be the case here.
And with everything that's happened, has that changed anything about how you're going to approach the future and your writing room maybe?
For sure, I'm going to interact in a way that's much more careful on Twitter. I feel like, a lot of what the things that I said in my excitement, I love this show and I love Clark and Lexa and I loved everything that was happening, and I tweeted about that, and that set up an unrealistic, I think, expectation. I definitely contributed to that problem, so that she was going to end up having a happy ending. And so I'm going to be careful for sure in that way. My writers are too. And in terms of the bigger lesson of like how much power a story potentially has, and the impact in the life of the audience that a story might play, I think we're going to definitely spend time in the room sort of doing a post-mortem on this season and how things happened and why they happened. And I don't think it'll mean that we tell a less intense story. I think that it'll make us more sensitive to our audience in a way that I think is important. Again, I used this metaphor before of the roller coaster. When you're building a roller coaster, you want the ride to be intense and scary and, death-defying and all those loops and dips to work. But you don't want the cars to jump off the track. And I feel like in some ways that happened with the response to the Lexa death, and that was, I think compounded by a lot of factors, but I think we need to be more careful that we design the ride that is going to get to the end safely, if that makes sense.
Do you plan to add people to the writers' room to help diversify in terms of more women, more people of color?
We have, I would venture to say, more women writers on our show than almost any show on television. I can't state that for a fact, but we had way more women than men on our staff last year, and that's always been the case, and it will continue to be the case. We're changing up some people for sure. Some writers went to run other shows. Some writers went to, didn't work out, but for the most part, the makeup of the room will be similar. Way more. That's why the women are so badass on our show. It's like, I love powerful women. So.
And you're deciding to look at the silver lining about the Trevor Project and the donations that have been given?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. Honestly, I feel like, it's a great organization. I think that if money could be raised to help people who are going through things in their lives because of who they love, I think that's tragic, and I think it's an amazing thing that has come out of this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks.